Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we are back. We're officially back. I spent about 40 hours in the YouTube jail for no reason. The channel was terminated. They said it was for deceptive practices, but upon appeal and review, the channel has officially been reinstated. So this is my first real full-length video back for you guys, and just in time for a very, very big and consequential primary day, arguably the last big day, the last Super Tuesday of primaries. So we're back in due time, thankfully. I appreciate everybody that supported me along the way, that helped me in the fight to regain the channel. But we are back, and still, you never know what's going to happen. So make sure you do follow me on Rumble, Odyssey, etc. Join my website as well at redeaglepolitics.com for my exclusive videos to support the channel. And also you get to join the Discord server. Make sure you check out the merch store, which is going to be closing down for a little while, not for a permanent amount of time, but we're going to be shutting it down in a few days here. So if you want to get your rep merch, now is the time, or it might be too late. So make sure you guys go get that. We got all these great designs for you. But we also have a very big day tomorrow. A lot of primaries across several states. We have Arizona, Michigan, Kansas, Missouri, Washington. And I wanted to dive into all of it because I've been, in this fight, the electability war, I guess you would call it, with a lot of members of the GOP establishment for probably almost a year now, especially in regards to Arizona and a lot of these races where a lot of people want to nominate the establishment candidates because they believe that they're like, oh, they're moderate or whatever. They're going to be more electable. And that's not entirely true. And I initially planned to release a couple of days ago an electability dissertation that would have been a full-length video, but I could not get it out in time, mainly because my channel was taken down. Now, YouTube didn't know I was going to be doing that. But either way, I will probably be doing a video discussing this, attacking more of the left and the election mafia when they say that people like Lake and Masters and Mastriano, etc., are unelectable, because now a lot of Republicans will have to fall in line, including the electabros, but a lot of people on the left are still going to be running these psyops because they're coping. Even they do it with J.D. Vance in Ohio, of all places, on the left. It's pretty funny. But beyond that point, we're going to dive into this and talk about it a little bit more, analyzing the primaries in this video, not just the electability side of things, which is a big factor. But I've been in the electability war for a long time, and tomorrow's the day of reckoning for the GOP establishment, the day of vindication for the America First side, as Kari Lake and Blake Masters, two America First fighters. They are, Trump 2016 style Republicans. They're very comprehensive on the issues. Kari Lake is very good on the border. She's very good in terms of making sure we never bring mandates back. Very good on education, making sure that we can end indoctrination in schools. And she's running up against Karen Robson. Karen Robson is a psychopath. She married a 91-year-old man when she was like 50. The guy's like 96 years old now. And she essentially is using his money, and the establishment is behind her because they're doing everything they can to stop Kari Lake. You had Salmon and Yee drop out because they could not defeat Lake, and now they're throwing all their eggs in the basket behind Robson, who spent millions upon millions of dollars. And Kari Lake is just out there with Trump's endorsement. She's got a good grassroots operation, and Lake is up in the polls right now by 12 points, and that's with one of the late push polls from Emerson that has Robson up by 1, the same poll that has Masters up by a ridiculous amount. I know Arizona likes to split their tickets in the general elections, but in terms of the primary, I can't see the ticket splitting being that large, and it's only a 600 voter sample size, which is smaller than the Rasmussen one, smaller than Trafalgar, and the margin of error is 4%. And taking all this into equation, Lake is up in most polls by around, 10 to 15 points. I think Lake is going to be around 50 at the end of the day. Robson's going to be around 40. The other candidates are going to be around 10. It's also important to understand that the poll out of Emerson did not include Salmon. I know Salmon dropped out, but he's still on the ballot, and a lot of people already voted for him via mail before he dropped out. So do keep all of this in mind as we're leading up to the election here, but it's very, very likely that Kari Lake wins the nomination in Arizona, which is huge because the electabros, like I said, the day of reckoning is upon us, especially for them. And I said this, and I said, you know, when Lake and Masters are going to win the general in November, I don't want to hear the term electability from these strategists ever again. I mean, already because of 2016 Trump, that was a big dagger in their narrative for sure. And this is going to be another one. And then I said that this is a new faction of the GOP. It's capitalizing off of the anti-Biden anger and energy while building off of the 2016 Trump movement and its willingness to fight in the culture war, its willingness to be, you know, unabashedly nationalistic and populist economically as well. And this is a new era that we're in. The old guard doesn't work. Sorry, boomers, but it's not 1984 anymore. Reaganism is not necessarily going to save this country at this point. This is a new era. It's a new day in the Republican Party, new day in America. Really, we're not fighting the Cold War anymore. We're fighting the new Cold War at home instead of communists in Russia. It's Marxists in our institutions, basically. And we need the right candidates who will fight and strive for victory. We need people that are going to be politically savvy, of course, people that are going to be somewhat likable. And that's what Lake and Masters represent as well. And we're going to see it unfold. But in terms of Masters, he's almost a shoo-in for the primary. Even the electabros are coping and admitting this. And Masters is actually sort of pivoting to the general. If you guys have paid a little bit of attention to his recent debate performance where he eviscerated Layman, I should say. I think, you know, his name is Layman, so you might as well call him Layman because he's a lame man. It's a very fitting last name. And then you have Greasy Mark Brnovich, who dropped the ball so badly. It's funny, all like the electabros like coalesce behind Mark Brnovich, despite the fact that Brnovich can't like win an election to save his life. He was carried by the wave in 2014, ran against a no-name opponent that was far left in 2018 and barely won, mainly thanks to Doug Ducey being relatively, surprisingly competent in his 2018 run. But beyond that point, Brnovich is somebody that's very lazy. I think he might lose to Mark Kelly because he doesn't know how to campaign. Blake Masters does. They said he's an internet candidate. He's not serious. Well, he's proving everybody wrong in real time. And he has all the money in the world because of Teal. Again, people will have mixed feelings about that, but he's able to use that money. And you could understand that he's able to self-fund, and then that'll mean Republicans will put more of their funding in Nevada, more of their funding in Georgia, Pennsylvania. Oz is getting a lot of free media coverage there too. So either way, they can use that money and focus on, I don't know, keeping the governorship or whatever in the state of Arizona, or just giving it to other competitive races nationwide. So Masters is definitely a massive net positive, very good on all the issues. Just all around will be a great senator. He is somebody who is an unabashed nationalist and a populist. He's somebody that talks about the border and immigration in a very palatable, effective way. And he's somebody that also wants, you know, he wants people to be able to raise a family on one income again. And we're not really doing that right now, especially under this administration. And Masters is appealing to all of the right people on all the right issues. And he'll win the primary and he'll win the general. And in the polls so far, last poll had him at 40. Rasmussen had him at 31. OH Predictive Insights, a neocon pollster, had him at 36. Some of the Layman internals had Layman up, but Layman is very dishonest and disingenuous, so I really wouldn't trust his internals whatsoever. I think Masters has got this. In terms of the other races statewide, we'll watch and see if Schweikert loses his primary. I know Trump endorsed him, but he's also facing some challengers to the right that have problems in terms of his ethics concerns, kind of like what we saw with Palazzo in the state of Mississippi. Also, it's important to understand that there's some other House races there. We'll monitor them on election night as well. And there's the Secretary of State race, Mark Fincham, the Trump-endorsed candidate, very controversial. Could he win a general? I think he could be carried, obviously. But also, if Bollock wins that primary, I'm not going to complain. In terms of the AG race there, Abe Hamada, he'll likely win, and he'll likely be one of the best attorney generals, if not the best, in the country, which we love to see that there as well. So Arizona, we have Arizona. That's the big one. Kansas, there's an abortion referendum on the ballot, which is very interesting. And I honestly think that Republicans having the contested primaries for, the governorship there, that definitely could help ban abortion in Kansas in the state's constitution, because the amendment is on the ballot for the primary cycle. So we'll see, because Laura Kelly is running unopposed, and Derek Schmidt is likely going to be that nominee. Also, Chris Kobach is running for I believe, Attorney General. We'll see if he wins that primary as well in the state of Kansas. He was the former Secretary of State in the state, so we'll see very Trumpian America First candidate there. So we'll monitor the situation. But beyond that point, we also have to talk about the state of Michigan, where Donald Trump went out there and he endorsed Tudor Dixon for governor. Again, I think Dixon is the most viable candidate to defeat Gretchen Whitmer. She's also fairly decent on most issues. She's, good optics all around. And I really believe that she has a very good chance to win. Whitmer has a big operation, but I think Dixon might be the one that could be able to take her down. But beyond that point, there are some House races that we have to talk about, mainly the 3rd district. That's the big one, because in the 3rd district, you have none other than Peter Meijer, one of the impeachment 10. Obviously, Upton's out of the way in the 6th district, or whatever district it is now. But Peter Meijer in the 3rd district, that is going to be one to watch as well, because Peter Meijer voted to impeach Trump, very liberal on a lot of social issues. I did a video talking about this, and John Gibbs is an America First, based black conservative, actually, somebody that's really solid on every single issue that's running in Michigan's 3rd. And I think that if he wins the primary, he'll win the general. Michigan voters, trust me, people are like, oh, well, Meijer, he's still electable in the Biden +8 district or whatever. But it's like, okay, it is not the most Trumpian district in terms of Trump as a person, but still, John James, I think, came close to winning that district as well. And in this national environment, I think Dixon might end up winning the district, or it's going to go Republican. I think that Meijer would probably underperform because a lot of Michigan voters in that district probably wouldn't even vote for him, given the fact that he's liberal. And a lot of these voters are very vindictive. I know how these voters work. Trust me, there's a lot of Michigan Republicans that did not vote for Bill Schuette in 2018 because they thought he was establishment. They wanted Colbeck. And even though Colbeck didn't do that well in the primary, still, those voters definitely played a role. Some of them, actually, that I know that voted for Colbeck voted for Whitmer just to spite the establishment. So that's basically what it is. You have a lot of voters out there that are not necessarily going to, toe the party line, and they'll vote for the opposition that hates them just to make a point. And Peter Meijer, for that reason alone, I think he's not electable whatsoever. Polls have had him losing big to Scholten, whereas Gibbs is in the margin of error or defeating Scholten. And I think that at the end of the day, Gibbs will beat Scholten. He might lose in 2024 because, the national environment. But Peter Meijer, if he gets by, would likely lose in 24 as well. And also, it's important to understand that in 2024 and beyond, Gibbs could actually be a star and run for Senate and win, whereas Meijer would likely just lose the seat in general. So do keep that in mind. There's also some other primaries. We'll see if, like, Moulinar ends up surviving his primary challenge to Tom Norton. We'll monitor the situation come election night, but it's mainly the governorship that's the big primary, but Dixon should win, and we'll keep monitoring Meijer. I think Meijer will lose despite the money he has, just because of the fact that impeachment 10 Republicans have been failing nationwide. Even Valadao, who didn't really face a Trump-endorsed challenger, underperformed vastly. He only got like 40% of the Republican vote in the district, or even lower than that technically, when you consider the fact that he had a lot of like left-leaning independents probably voting for him in that jungle primary. So this is all important information. And then you have the Tom Rice underperformance and South Carolina. So we'll likely see Meijer, I think, lose. It'll be glorious. And you get a massive upgrade and a future star in John Gibbs. So we're moving on to Missouri. And in the state of Missouri, there's a big Senate primary there. That's mainly the one that's been talked about a lot. The Democrat side is going to be contested, but on the Republican side, you have Eric Greitens, who I did a video about last video, which was like 5 days ago. I know, sorry, but I'm glad to be back. He actually was winning the primary for a while, and then they dumped a lot of money against him because he's very anti-establishment. I mean, he faced basically these allegations that were later debunked because he voted to cut the bureaucratic pay, or at least not raise it, and he was draining the swamp in Jefferson City, and they threw a temper tantrum about it because he's an America First fighter and a warrior and has been his entire career. However, he slid back in the polls. Trump said he would not endorse Hartzler, which is like, she's basically Diet Tom Cotton, decent on domestic policy, garbage on foreign policy. And then you have Eric Schmidt, who is a little bit of a less proven product, but is still somebody that has a record that's surprisingly decent. And if he wins the primary, I'm not going to complain. He'll be an upgrade over Roy Blunt. And there was, questions there for a while. Would he commit to getting rid of McConnell? He did, which was good. Hopefully he stays true to his word. But Trump actually, was confused about who he was going to endorse. So he did this endorsement today, and he endorsed Eric. He just said, Eric has my total endorsement. So what Eric is he talking about? Both Greitens and Schmidt have claimed Trump's endorsement now. It's just classic Trump trolling. He's still got it. We love Donald Trump. He is still the leader of the Republican Party, and he will continue to be. Yeah, he's banned from Fox News. I say good. The establishment still doesn't like him. So we love to see it. We absolutely do. And then we have Washington, which, again, there's 2 impeachment, 10 Republicans there. Newhouse, I think, might go down in the first round. He might not even advance to the general in the jungle primary. And you also, in that district, have Lauren Culp, who is fairly solid. He's running against him, and then I think the Democrat will likely get in second place there. So we'll see. Hopefully Newhouse goes down. Then you have Jamie Herrera Butler, who has actually been pivoting to the right a little bit lately. She's actually trying to win that primary. She has, supported auditing the Fed. She has voted the right way on the whole codifying of Bargafell thing. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there in that district as well. We'll monitor all of this come tomorrow. I'll be live streaming my epic return to election streaming after the 40-hour stint that I served in the YouTube jailhouse for no reason, but they did the right thing, actually. I know we shouldn't really be celebrating, the restoration of something that should never have been taken down to begin with. But either way, I'm glad to be back. Make sure you guys follow me on Rumble, Odyssey, join the website, buy the merch so we could stay connected, in case it happens again. I don't want to lose you guys. I really don't. But I appreciate everybody that supported me through this, and I'm glad to be back. And we're going to win the midterms big time. We're going to do it with the right candidates as much as we possibly can. So I'm excited, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle out.